Welcome to the Two and a Half Citizens podcast.
I'm Zen.
I'm Seth.
So, yeah, for one, perfect. The fact that you hit that on, like,
I'll be listening.
You got that shit. You had it. So, we did tell you Pablo out here in Puerto Rico, I don't know. He out there with Bad Bunny, I guess. And he just got married, right? So, you know what I mean?
You didn't tell me he was in Puerto Rico.
I ain't going to... He probably laying pipe, dog, right?
Boy's doing his thing.
He can't say that.
He is balls deep right now.
He can't say that, but I might be able to because he's not here to stop me. So...
We should call him at some point in the podcast.
Yo, I don't know if right now is the... Should we call him right now? Yo, I don't want to bother you if you're busy.
Yo, what's good?
You're on the podcast right now. We just had to do a quick thing just because I wanted to shout you out because you're married now. I don't know, just so you know you live.
What's up, Pablo?
Dude, I can't hear you. They're like playing loud live music.
Enjoy yourself. I'll talk to you later, dog.
All right, love y'all.
So, we have a guest on here today. We got Seth. We dug into the deep gutters and trash cans of Magnolia to pull Seth out here for you today because I felt like we needed a little bit of I felt like things were getting a little too wholesome. Pablo talking about getting married and it was nice and it's fun, but all this wholesome, we need some debauchery. And
we just need a mix up from Pablo's liberal bullshit, so.
If we go and jump, because we got some things on here.
I'm playing.
But, I mean, okay, let's get right into it. This week has just been, things have been happening, then changing, then turning, then... So, we can get into, the stuff of the world that's a little heavy, but we can do that a little later. There's been a bunch of, little bullshit, right? I've been seeing news pop up, and it's Biden leaving Americans in Afghanistan, right? And then I'm scrolling through Fox News, and it's Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott to expect second baby.
I didn't know they had a first baby.
Yeah, no, dog. If you didn't know about the first baby, they had the first baby, right?
What's his name? What's that baby's name?
Her name is Stormy.
All right.
So, the thing about this is, I'm looking at this not oh, look, they're having a child. I'm looking at this oh, they're getting the next characters for the TV show coming up. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm looking at this and I'm I'm seeing who they're casting, basically. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay, interesting choices. I'm pretty sure that these children are getting work done before they,
in the womb.
Out the womb. I think they get some work done before they even get the first picture onto the world. That's why they never post a picture. They act like it's for the sake of their family and sanctity and stuff. Nah, they're we got to make sure this baby don't look ugly fresh out the womb. Fix a few things, make things, because both of them have work done, basically.
Right.
You just expect them to make a naturally good-looking kid off rip? They don't work like that.
No, that's why you got CRISPR. I mean, it's the age of CRISPR, man. Before,
but tell me, in the age of CRISPR, how these people are getting accidentally married. I mean, accidentally pregnant.
There's never an accidental pregnancy. Any pregnancy you hear about is a planned pregnancy. Because
they could have just cut the cord real quick.
Real quick. They live in California. It's it's a dime in the bucket. You don't have to make an appointment there. You just
walk in.
Yeah,
someone comes to the crib.
Appointments.
Someone comes to the crib. She was hiding that pregnancy for a good the first pregnancy. She hid it up until the day of almost that shit was about to pop out. She was just recycling old pictures and all this kind of stuff. And then she monetized it, made a video about it. A bunch of people watched it. And everything that she's done afterwards has been kind of it'll be Kylie. So Travis Scott was going on tour last time. And they were yeah, Kylie and Stormy are popping up. So now you got these guests. This is just your family.
Yeah.
But to everyone else, you're oh shit, Kylie and Stormy are going to be there. Now my girl wants to come. You know what I mean? Now it's not just me wanting to go to the Travis Scott show. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a whole thing. So when that happened, Travis Scott was doing his album drop, right? Kylie and Stormy are helping him with the promo run. Nicki Minaj is coming around the same time and doesn't get the #1 because of Travis Scott and his bundles and all this kind of stuff, even though she was doing bundles. So that's when she's on her Queen radio coming out talking about Stormy was good. Like this bitch beefing with a
Oh,
child.
you talking shit to a toddler?
This toddler on the promo run. Everyone getting it. If you on the promo run, you getting it. But how does that seem now? Like, I think, like you said, there's no planned pregnancies when it comes to this shit. They broke up. How does this like fit into the fold now? They had gotten back together, allegedly in an open relationship. They try to dump the rumors. So they say, fuck it, we got to come out with the pregnancy.
I want to see a paternity test saying it's Travis's. Y'all are an open relationship? Prove it's Travis's. Because that baby only holds any validity if it's Travis and not some broke motherfucker.
That's true. You only want a Travis collab.
I only want a Travis baby. Only a Travis collab. That's it.
You only want a Travis collab. If we found out, because here's where if we want to get into some other weird bullshit, there was the whole Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez thing.
Yeah.
The alleged stuff that had the alleged rumors at first that this was at a Kylie Jenner party, that this all went down.
That she got knocked up at a Kylie Jenner party?
No. That Megan got shot and the whole Tory situation happened.
Yeah, I said I know that.
So everyone was like, yo, Kylie, what the fuck happened? Like, you know what I mean? You was there. And the alleged stuff was that like Kylie was kind of flirting with Tory and Megan was like, what's up? You over here trying to fuck with this white bitch or whatever? Probably. What if we find out it's Tory's baby? If it's a Tory baby,
we're gonna find out that baby comes out 5'6". You know, here in about 14 years, you got a 5'6" baby.
You're like, wait. How tall the baby is? Nah.
That's a Tory baby.
That's a Tory baby for sure.
Look at the nose.
It just comes out scatting.
Isn't Travis Barker dating one of the Kardashians now?
Yeah, they pulled the white power move with that one. So, all right, it's like the only girl of the Kardashians, it's Kourtney, who fucks with white dudes. So
I didn't think any of them fucked with white dudes.
I think this is the only one.
The only white dude or the only girl that fucks with white dudes?
The only girl that fucks with white dudes, because before it was like Scott or something. Like there was the one white dude that's kind of involved with the show because of one of them and the kids.
I ain't never seen one episode of that.
You've never seen one
Hell
episode?
No.
I've caught it walking by the living room. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been like, who's that?
Your wife watches that shit, huh?
I mean, I've seen her. I've caught her watching it. If she's trying to have, they always say it's background noise.
Oh, basic ass.
They all say it's background noise, and so I might ask a few questions, and they might tell me, "Oh no, that's the natural one. That's the one that like believes in this, or that's the one." Okay, so I think this is the one that fucks with white dudes. The power thing, the power dynamic right now that they've been like going through together is like Travis Barker with Khloe Kardashian hanging out with Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly, of like the basic tatted up white dudes with fine bitches. They've been like
because
the
Travis
duo.
and Machine have been like, they've been separated at the hip, or they've been attached at the hip more than anybody else has.
So lately they've been going out, like the fact, like to me, I can't believe like Machine Gun Kelly securing Megan Fox like that.
Yeah, that's wild.
Because I don't know what his age is, but he was probably like all of us that were watching Transformers for the first time being like, yo, that's the bitch. I'm going to get her. You know what I'm saying? So,
because he's got to be like,
body,
I'm pretty sure he's your age.
I'm thinking so. Like maybe a little older. Let's see Machine Gun Kelly's age really quickly. His age. He's 31, so he's older than me. But how old is Megan Fox? She's 35. So they're not too much of a difference.
She's my age. I thought she was a hell of a lot older.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, she looks good for 35. I don't know about your...
yeah.
I'm just trying to see if you grew into your 35. White people don't age the best. I don't know what it is.
Alcoholism.
All right. Meth use. Now,
I got most of my teeth.
Depending on what kind of whites. But no, you notice, like, even, like, the rich white dudes don't age gracefully, really.
No, but they got money.
So, like, that's exactly.
Now, Mexican dudes, y'all just get...
It depends.
Y'all lose that weight. Y'all keep y'all's hair, first off. I've never met a real bald-ass Mexican.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, like, if you're really bald like that, like, you got some white in you or something.
But you're females. God damn.
This is what I've been talking about. Okay, and this is what me and Pablo talked about last podcast briefly about the fact that, like, there's a large percentage of every ethnic group or every race that fucks with Latina women heavy.
I tried.
Like, that's like, yo, that, like, that's my thing. There's a large group of everyone that's like, Latinas for me, though. Like, the most racist of racist, and then they'll be like, but them Latinas, though.
Well, it's kind of like the homophobic Christians, and it turns out to be gay.
Yeah, but everybody fucks with a Latino woman. Mexican dudes, though, is very hit or miss, because I'm trying to, and maybe you can help me find this, I'm trying to think of Mexican, our go-to Mexican pretty boy. Because
Enrique Iglesias? Oh, he's gay, huh?
But I'm like...
I'm just talking shit.
I don't know. Like, all the ones that I've been thinking about lately that have been popping off right now aren't Mexican. They're like Puerto Rican, Dominican. They're that. They're like Colombian. They're not Mexican.
But see, y'all have y'all's whole ass own lane. You think about all your rich ass Mexican performers, they stay in that Mexican lane. They're not trying to come over and pull a Selena or pull, all of that. All these Islander types, they are.
Like trying to pull the crossover?
Yeah. But see, the Mexicans, they don't have to. They make hella money staying right in their lane. And
that's
they're
the thing.
good at it.
And it's not my lane, so I don't know.
Right.
So I'm like trying to find like... But I tried to shout out to Pablo. Like, Pablo be listening to some spick ass shit in the car off rip.
God damn.
I'm just saying, sometimes I'll be in there and I'll be like, bro, like, it's just us. We don't got to pretend. Like, we don't got to prove nothing to people. Like, come on, like, put some white shit, dog. Like,
So when you say that, like, give me a reference, like, to what?
Like, an example is like, I get the Bad Bunny stuff. I get the... I don't know, man. It's just like when corridos and stuff like that, like the I'm done. I'm done unless I'm eating fajitas in someone's backyard. That's the only time, and I have a tecate in my hand. If I have a tecate,
That's my shit.
and there's fajitas, go on. Go off. But we in the car? No.
You're not
like
in a 1994 Chevy Silverado.
American cars, I don't even think like American cars EQ balance is suitable in a car for that type of music.
Can I tell you that I've never heard a Bad Bunny song? And the only person I've ever heard talk about Bad Bunny is you.
You've never heard a Bad Bunny song?
I couldn't tell you a snidbit of what his music sounds like.
And he has, I believe, at least at a certain point, like, outstreamed Drake because he has such a global reach. The fact that he like he's off strictly Spanish music and like he is like the biggest thing here in America.
So then why do you think it is that I've legit never heard any of his music? Why do you think that is? I mean, I put myself out there. I know a lot of different music.
It's real talk.
Shout out to Bolt Thrower, by the way.
Shouts out.
I picked that album today.
It's algorithms. So, like, you basically tell your computer what you like, and it knows who you are, it knows where you live, it knows what you do, and it's probably, like, straight up, like, my dad's the same way, and my dad's Hispanic, so you would think, like, but it's the algorithms of what he goes through, the stations that you would naturally go to, like, Bad Bunny isn't going to be playing, like, even if you are listening to the radio, which you're probably not a bunch, you're not going to go to, like, the pop station, you're going to go to like the rock station maybe or the country station possibly. And
but so even talking about algorithms though, I play that Snoop Dogg, what's that mariachi Snoop Dogg song? I know you know it. What is it?
I don't know.
You don't know what I'm talking about? It's that Mexican song, Spanish song that Snoop Dogg does.
Okay, I'll look for it later, but so that you're thinking that that's going to link you?
Well, that and like my kids listen to Ariana Grande on my Spotify, and I don't know. I could be stretching it here. I don't know.
And maybe
I feel disconnected
because I'm trying to think of like the biggest song. There's definitely huge songs off of his album that had been popping off recently, but there were also because of certain things. So like one song that was really popping, Yo Perreo Sola. The thing about that one is he dressed as a woman in it. And was like twerking on himself. Like he was dressed like a bad bitch. Like he looked fine. And he was like twerking on himself and shit like that. And so the Mexican community, who really doesn't fuck with that shit
at all,
were like the Hispanic community, because he's Puerto Rican, we're like, what? Like even fellow artists, like some were like, nah, we ain't fucking with that shit. But then of course, like in a weird way, that was almost pandering to like us, because we eat that shit up.
Yeah.
Americans, we're gonna be like, oh shit, he's being woke?
What crazy shit did he do?
He's being woke? and then we eat that shit up. So like that caused a lot of controversy, but a lot of positive stuff. And like if you're looking at that shit, like that song was popping. There's a song called like Creepy Kush, which was like one of the first times I had ever heard him. And then that got remixed. It pretty much happens like a Hispanic artist release poppin', then somebody does a remix with them that's from the States. Yeah. And then like so like the first time that I think this really touched and like a Hispanic song like lit the fuck up was when Despacito came out.
Is that Bad Bunny?
No.
Oh.
That's Luis Fonsi and someone else. But Justin Bieber was on that shit.
Yeah.
And so that shit went. And so like when then J Balvin really popped with the whole Mi Gente thing.
Who? Showing my age over here, dog.
All right, dog.
I know who Jack Harlow is.
Of course you do. The white guy. You know the white guy.
Hey, sticking on the music, though, you heard what Kanye did this morning, huh?
What did he do this? Oh, wait.
He dropped Drake's Addy on
Oh, my
Instagram.
gosh. Yo, so that shit's been wild. So I don't know, did you hear about the shit that he did right before that, though? Like the day before, which is what's leading this whole thing. I don't know if they're trying to do a planned joint rollout somehow.
I think they are. You don't do this.
You know what he did before? He's in a group message. So this all stemmed from Trippie Redd just put out an album, okay?
Yeah, and Drake was on it, huh?
Drake was on it and had a Ye diss, a Ye sneak diss.
I haven't heard it, but I know it's out there.
So I'll try to read the lyrics.
And I know about the group chat with Pusha T and Kanye.
That's the thing.
I know about that, but I don't know anything because that's about as much as I know is that there's a group chat with all that, but I haven't heard anything crazy out of that group chat.
All right, so basically what he goes, all these fools I'm beefing that I barely know, 45, 44, burned out, let it go. Ye ain't changing shit for me, it's set in stone.
He's not lying, though.
Rolling stones, heavy stones, pink grills, precious stone. Let me make my presence known.
What's the 44, 45? Like, what is that?
Their ages. Like, y'all just washed up, dog. Like, you got a 44-year-old, I guess, Kanye and Pusha T. Like, their ages.
Pusha T's been washed up, but Kanye's forever.
But he's
late registration. I need to say more.
But I get that, but I think he's basically kind of trying to diminish that to a degree. Like,
he's washed up too.
Drake?
I mean, I'm sorry. I got 4 kids, right? My oldest being 13. Not one of them little shits listens to Drake at all. My youngest likes that one song. I couldn't even tell you which one it is. I'm not even going to try to sing it. But yeah, my youngest likes a Drake song because it goes off and he just starts fist bumping and doing all that shit. But my older ones, that's old people music.
All right, I get. So that's wild to me because if that's the case, like he's now the J in the thing. We're like, I never listen to Jay.
I'm not saying that. Jay who? J Rock or Jay Z?
Jay Z.
You know, listen to Jay Z?
I wasn't really listening to Jay Z.
All right, then I was heavy on Jay Z.
You were heavy on Jay Z. You were probably like me with Drake now.
I got 10 years on you though.
That's what I'm saying.
I got 10 years on you.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
I fucked with Jay Z.
You were fucking with Jay. The way I'm fucking with Drake, where I'm like, nah, like he's the hardest out.
He kind of is.
Because to me, it's more so like the songs are there, the hits are there, and he knows how to stay relevant in the sense like, yeah, sure, they might not listen to a Drake, like they might not really listen to Drake, but like their favorite artists have a song with Drake.
Yeah, well, and it's like he's always had it. He's always had that finesse he's got, and then so now he's refined his whole thing he's got going on, and every line he has hits harder than his beats do.
Because he's lived like life in this crazy way where like kind of like when Tyler the Creator did his album, he was like, this was the perfect time for me to be able to do this album because I'm not lying on this album. It's like everything that I'm saying, all the flexing that I'm doing, the whole thing, he's like, that's real.
And that album was one of his best albums since Odd Future was still
a thing.
Frank Ocean and shit.
Yeah. And so like that's the thing with Drake is when you hear these things, you're like, yo, these are real like situations.
Yeah. He doesn't try to stay relevant. Like he doesn't try to pander to us. He doesn't try to like make raps that we can relate to. He's like, nah, I'm rich as fuck. And this is what I go through.
Yeah.
And we still eat it up because, like I said, his lyrics hit harder than his beats do. He's just line after line bangers.
Yeah. And so now, like, the young kids are fucking with this, like, in a weird way. Like, we're like, no, this is the real music and stuff like that. I fuck with, like, all this, like, wild, crazy shit that the like young kids are like doing and stuff like that. Certain things I'm like, yo, I don't. There are certain times where like Roman, I don't know if I can. When Roman shows me something, if that's like the streets talking, because Roman's.
Yeah, so Roman's still young. What is he listening to?
That's the problem. Is Roman's listening to fucking like free jazz.
Okay, we'll see. Like my 13-year-old listens to like fucking Russian. It's weird. I don't know. It's Russian music, but it's not techno. It's not. I don't know. It's just.
So do you think that that's the Russian? Because do you think that's the way the Russians are trying to infiltrate? Like they're always trying to infiltrate American culture.
Kids are just trying to be weird. Like we used to listen to Rammstein.
But I don't know.
We're just trying to piss our parents off.
Because now you have to think about it like we kind of just already was on top because America #1, but then we start infiltrating everyone through our apps. They're all American-made social media apps for the most part, where like they're all living in the TikTok coming out here now, and Chinese people don't even let their people use it, but like they're
is that true?
I think it's blocked over there. Or they have a different version or some shit.
Well, I'm sure they got a different version, but
TikTok is their app. It's a Chinese app. But they have to have a different version of their own app.
Yeah, because it's communist.
See what I'm saying? But like we are over here eating it up, and I think that like they're able to like, because the thing about it is the translation's crazy. Like what it would take to get like 1 million followers like on YouTube or Instagram or some shit like that, you can get like that like easily. And if you have 1 million followers like on Instagram, people know who you are.
Right.
You have these random people that have like 1 million followers on TikTok and shit, because I don't think it's like the relevance of the people that are here. I think it's a lot of random people in China and stuff like that that may are able to get through it, or all these other countries that are like somehow. I don't think it actually translates to relevance, and I think it's more so programming us than like actually giving us like recognition.
Yeah, so how do you program somebody that thinks they're free? You really think about it. So you sit here and you capture millions upon millions of hours of random people, and you want it in clips. You don't want them to drag off in long, serious conversations or anything like podcasts. You want quick clips. And you analyze it all. It all goes through a computer, and, you analyze all this American tendencies, and you can see where they're going, and you can almost get ahead of their curve, and you can shift their curve. I think that's how they do it. And that's weird conspiracy shit, but...
Yeah, tinfoil hats on. None of this is real.
But let's be real here. China owns North Korea. Right? North Korea wouldn't last a week without China's backing support. North Korea has no fucking money. Their people are starving. Well, they're starving because we're going to go down a rabbit hole here. But yeah, China has their hands in everything. And so does Russia.
And that's why I think that if we... Like, because everything's going on in Afghanistan right now, right? And we feel like we got to do something. Well, then, like, why don't we do something in North Korea? Well, because if we did something in North Korea, we'd have to do something in China. Which...
It'll never happen.
Which even, even the... It's the real bad double-edged sword of capitalism, where, like, we think that capitalism is going to do everything and, like, fix everything, but when we kind of are slave to that monetary gain, we're going to pander to whatever side gives us the most money, which is China in movies, mostly.
That's Hollywood that does that. And we can get into that Afghan stuff whenever you want. You just tell me when you're ready. But see, and that's why you got like John Cena and LeBron James sitting here apologizing to China and shit. For what? Like, well, because it's all money. It's all money. There's no government involvement in that other than the Chinese government, because the Chinese government will censor it.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, to me, it's one thing when we look at the government like bending over to them and we're like, what the fuck? What's our government doing? It's another thing when it becomes a fabric of our culture. Like when Hollywood and the sports teams, like those are the things that we're like, if we are real fans of these people, we're gonna justify whatever they're doing because we like them, right? So we're gonna be like, well, it makes sense because
that's the fucked up part, dog.
And that's where I think it's more so part that it's like within the people, not necessarily in the government, because we can try to push back on the government to a degree or whatever, or try to talk shit, but when it becomes ingrained, like no, like this is what we do, right? Like this is what, like, it makes sense because
but our government is so embedded in China any fucking way They can sit here and say it's all capitalism. You can say it all to the cows come. Our government is so embedded in them, and it's almost known that we bipartisan and we don't care about it. Like you said, though, but when our entertainment starts catering to them and it gets shoved in our face, like the Houston Rockets, like the whole thing that they did with them, you don't apologize to the communist regime, ever. Fuck them. Fuck the Chinese government. You can spray me with that water. Where's your water bottle at? Fuck the Chinese government.
But yeah, I mean, like, you do see that with what happened. Like, when you see that, like you see it with the Rockets, you do wonder, like, yo, I mean, because John Cena literally apologized in Mandarin for recognizing Taiwan as a country. Like,
does anybody else see a fucking problem with that?
And his thing was, I'm so tired. I'm just so tired.
He's like, I gotta put my kids to private. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. Oh, we can't do Chinese accents
We can
anymore.
only do white minority accents. We can do Russians, Italians. What's Connor? Irish. We can do all of those.
All
we
the
can
hard
do the white ones.
But those are the hard ones.
Right? But we can't do the easy ones. That's the thing. It's got to be hard.
You got to earn it.
Yeah. Real talk.
The whole China thing's weird because then you sit there, and the way I see it is a Democrats in office, you're pandering to China. Republicans in office, you're pandering to Russians. And
yo, what's gonna happen to your group? I just saw this news alert here.
Don't you even associate me with them motherfuckers.
Proud Boy leader sentenced to more than 5 months for burning Black Lives Matter banner.
Who's the leader now? Because
Henry Torrio or whatever.
Because that's not the same one that shoved the dildo up his ass on live television to prove that he wasn't gay.
Known to followers as Enrique. Enrique? I don't know.
No, that's not the same one.
Well,
first of all, how you running around burning American flags all the time? How the hell is he going to get sentenced for burning a Black Lives Matter banner?
Yeah. So how did that work?
Pandering.
But there's pandering. But if it's not like against the law, then like how does that work? Unless it was just someone's. Because if this is the case, if you just want to take it bare down to minimum and not add the semantics, who owned that flag? Where was it? Are you burning property? And that's where it comes down to like you trespassed maybe and broke and destroyed property. And if you start capping about how much that flag was worth, because I guess it becomes monetary, right?
But you gotta be smarter than that. You know you're gonna gain attention. You're not gonna steal that flag from somebody and burn it.
So the leader of the far-right Proud Boys was sentenced Monday to more than 5 months in jail after admitting that he burned a Black Lives Matter banner taken from a historic black church in Washington during a pro-Trump demonstration in December.
Yeah, lock his ass up.
So, you know what you're doing. I think it's one thing if you're like, you're telling like a business like stop capping. Like I got so annoyed by how many people acted fake gay for like that month.
That's every year though.
I know, but like I'm looking outside and it's all the lights and then literally like the month ends like almost at midnight, and it's like 4th of July, red, white, and blue. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck they gotta like switch right over to, and I'm like, okay, so like you did what you got to do, right? And I can see a lot of people being like, whatever, if they see a flag on the street. I get annoyed seeing Trump flags on the street still because I'm like, dog, like he's gone.
Take a jog through my neighborhood.
Yo.
They still, you drive through Magnolia, these sons of bitches still have them on the backs of their trucks flying. There's Trump 2020. I'll be like, oh, dude, he ain't coming back.
That's what I'm saying. Or sometimes I'm like, all right, like that gets on my nerves. I'm like, can we just get the fuck out of here? It's an eyesore. Like this is weird. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no competitive flags right now. Like I was still, they're so proud about them. So like when they're out there, I'm like, all right, whatever. You're showing your support for your person. What you doing now? Now, like, because to me, if you still have Trump flags up, you're not even like, you are a Trump fan. You're not a like Republican or Democrat because you're not like into the process because he lost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like you don't believe in the democratic process. So you're just a fan of Trump. You know what I mean? As a person.
It's just setting us, it's split us up so hard now.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. And unfortunately, there's no stopping it.
So if we're going to be real, so if we say that like the far left, if we say that the far left wants to basically have a socialist, communist type of government, if their utopian thoughts were, met, what would like the extreme right people who basically want Trump and want to like supersede the democratic process to make sure that his boy is put in office? Because now, if you saw all the shit that happened about the like the hearings and everything for the Capitol Hill situation, they're like legit basically charging this as they're wanting to overthrow the election.
I just want to put it to you like this, and you tell me if I'm wrong. If the leftists were really making a difference and getting what they want in their movement, they'd have Bernie. None of us are winning. None of us.
Yeah.
We would have Bernie as a president right now if the left really got what they wanted. They wouldn't have had Hillary up there. Bernie got fucked twice. And he would have beat Trump. He would have beat Trump the first time. It wouldn't have mattered. Bernie would have beat Trump out of the gate, no questions asked. Instead, you put Hillary up there, and nobody wants that fucking cunt. Nobody.
Is it okay to say it if it's Hillary?
Yeah, because everybody thinks it. The left, the right, everybody thinks Hillary's a cunt. It's okay.
And Biden, I don't think anyone's inspired by Biden. I don't think I like the way things have been lately is just making no one happy. Like the people on the right definitely aren't happy because he came off and started like, fucking with oil and gas off rip, just like stamping that shit.
And so now, what was it? I think it was Friday. So we already have an ammo shortage that's kind of starting to come back. He banned all ammo from Russia coming to the United States. Like something like 85% of our ammo, our cheap ammo, our steel case, all that cheap shit comes from Russia. All of it.
So
he put an embargo on it. He said no more. He's put a stranglehold. He can't ban our guns. He's not going to.
He's kind of making sure that it makes it difficult for you.
Chris Rock style. You can keep your guns, but that one bullet's going to cost you $1,000.
So how do you feel about that as someone who is more like, I fuck with guns, but I don't got a bunch. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I don't care. Like, I'm pro-choice, but like, I ain't got no abortion. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as you actively, using guns, actively getting them, actively being in the community.
I know people that have quit their jobs and just reload now. I know plenty of people that can reload ammo. And all that's 100% legal. And it's cheaper.
So you think that the community's going to basically just restructure around it?
Yeah, they don't have a choice. They're not going to stop.
Like, you don't think they're going to try to, like, push things back, try to, like, basically do some, like, left shit?
They're going to get on the internet. They're going to cry. They're going to talk shit. They're going to do the same thing they always do. That's one thing about, I hate grouping myself, but, like, they're all talk. You bitch on the internet all you want, but nothing's going to get done. Nothing ever gets done by a right-wing Republican talking shit on the internet in their truck. You know what I'm saying, though.
I know exactly. What you're saying.
It's like they sit here and we were bullshitting about the other day. Is that the Republicans want to talk all the shit they want about the left? Not y'all couldn't even start a lawnmower and blah blah blah. Yet they were burning down police stations and they took over 6 city blocks of fucking Portland. You stormed the Capitol and took selfies, and that's all you did. All those sorry sons of bitches that you hate so much were in the same building. You broke in. You did the hard part. Now do the job. No. They took selfies.
Now, the thing about it also, too, is they did it without guns.
Yeah, like why? If you went in there, you wheel that French guillotine to the steps, and you do what you came to do.
No, but I'm talking about even like the left. The left did it all without guns.
Which I thought was really weird.
Well, because they're got to be consistent, I guess. Plus, imagine them with guns. It's a wrap.
I think we can go look at Pittsburgh's history about that and see what happens when the left tries to revolt with guns.
Yeah.
Pretty sure the Pittsburgh police wiped out like blocks and blocks of that town.
See what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Nah. So, I mean...
And then we got Afghanistan sitting here and all of our tax money just getting swept up by some damn some damn insurgents. Like, that's how you take over some shit. The Republicans need to take notes. They don't need to be mad about it. They need to look. They can take the notes.
Right, and be like, oh, that's the way.
That's how you do it. I'm going to take me a trip over to Afghanistan.
That Afghanistan shit lately has been... Like, what's your... I don't know enough about the history, right? Like...
Yeah, you were young.
So, like, it's this weird thing where every person that I talk to right now is trying to shift blame, which, granted, makes sense, right? Who started this shit? Why are we even in this to begin with? Sure. But the way that Biden handled pulling out is where things get questionable. About, like, how everything went about, how...
He said it for a while. He said it during the debates. He said it when he became president. He said, we're pulling out. He extended it. He said, look, we're pulling out by here. We're going to pull out by 9/11 is what he said.
Yeah.
We're going to be completely out by 9/11. He originally said the 4th of July.
No, 4th of July was his vaccine shit, I thought.
You can Google that. I'm not sure. I talk on my ass a lot.
Because he's been basically, there's been a few things to me. So he pushed it, he reeled it back, which you're right, because the 4th of July thing was like, we're going to have X percent of Americans vaccinated by the 4th of July, which didn't happen because QAnon. And then, he said, we're going to have, we're going to pull out by 9/11. He just loves these, like, I don't know why, but he loves these holiday deadlines. Like,
well, as somebody trying to cater to the American public, it's a smart move.
Yeah.
I'm glad he pulled out. We've known that he was pulling out since he got in, 8 months ago?
So what you're telling me
it's Bush's fault.
Is Biden's pullout game strong?
I wouldn't say strong, but it was needed. But he had to pull out.
Because if not, we might have had to abort this shit.
And there's never a right way to do it. Now, see, we're Americans. This is the military industrial complex. We don't pull out. We don't pull out anywhere. Anywhere that we've ever been to, invaded, so whatever you want to call it.
We leave a little something.
We leave bases. And I'm sure we're going to leave a base there. But we had to get out. He recognized it. Everybody recognized it. He's been telling people for fucking months. It needed to happen. Biden needed to pull out. He did it. Trump couldn't. They were all in his ear. And there's no right way to pull out. We don't ever pull out. And
so what about, like, Biden has been lately, which I don't know why people still, like, are listening to the things Biden says and, like, making them headlines as if, like, his words hold any weight anymore.
For the same reason they did Trump, because this shit's fucking funny.
No, I'm sorry. I meant Trump. They're taking things that Trump says now and making them headlines as if what he says matters.
Because half the country still gives a shit. And they're still going to click on those headlines.
So, I mean, I'll click on him. I ain't going front. But he's basically
over half the country.
He's praising the Taliban. Like, they're like, he's on, like, which, if I'm not mistaken, I don't fucking know anything about this, but, like, it seems by, like, what I hear that, like, this was kind of the plan. Like, once America dips, the Taliban comes in.
We funded them from the get-go. I think it was Bush Sr. funded all of this to take over the regime that was there. And it's just flip-flop. Military-industrial complex.
Which Rogan was talking about Roosevelt or whatever the fuck. Which one of the motherfuckers was, like, talking about that shit?
Oh, Reagan. Oh, Trump. Trump's the only president that has openly said those words together.
Nah.
You can look it up.
I think it was Roosevelt that was basically, like, one of them was, like, their last speech before they dipped was, like,
it was a
careful.
Warning.
Like the warning thing.
And Trump's the only one that has ever said those three words together: military-industrial complex. Which is a huge thing when you really think about it, because it's fucking real, and everybody wants to pretend like it's not. Now, Biden pulling out is one of the smarter things that Biden's done. He's done a few good things. And pulling out of Afghanistan is good. He's like, oh, what about the Americans there and all this? And fuck y'all. They had plenty of time to get out.
You think they want to be in there? Or do you think they thought that it wasn't going to go down the way it did? Because I think that's like... It doesn't
matter.
I think that's like the big thing.
When you're sitting in a mall, when you're sitting in Greenspoint Mall, surrounded by cops and gangbangers, all just kind of walking around each other, and the cops are going, hey, we're leaving. Is your stupid ass going to stay there? No. You're going to leave when the cops leave, or else you're going to get fucking shot. No, it's the same way. If you see them leaving, they were told, There was no right way to do it. He's going to catch slack no matter what. I'm not a Biden supporter. I don't give a fuck. I don't like either of them. But at the end of the day, he did what needed to be done. It was a false war anyway. This is Bush's fault.
Of course,
this isn't Biden's fault. This is Bush's fault. He was fixing a wrong. His reasons for fixing that wrong are relevant to me. He's getting out. Now, all the weapons that are left over there for the Taliban, all I see is my taxpayer dollars sitting over there. And I see him taking away our rights and our gun rights, chipping it away. And Trump did this. Trump passed more gun violations for the Second Amendment than any other president in history, besides Reagan. More than any other president.
So, like, what was he doing?
The bump stock ban. You're gonna call me out. You have to look him up. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a while. I got a lot of information. It's been there since then.
Yeah.
But statistically, though, it's more Second Amendment violations than any other president since Reagan, who enacted the Firearms Act of 19 whatever. I'm not going to even spout a number.
It's so crazy though. Like the gun shit's always weird to me, only because like it's almost like now the way I feel like with social media, right? Like we didn't expect social media to get to this place, so we didn't really think about setting rules wild beforehand. And now you see like the information shit, just kind of like the way that information gets shared and spread, how much that is centered around social media. And now it's pretty much almost like, to me, like the freedom of press and like almost that kind of an amendment.
That whole conversation's we don't have time for that one.
But the thing to me is like, in that same sort of similar way, of course, like no one, when they were writing the Constitution shit, thought that we're going to have like automatic fucking weapons and crazy shit like this.
But
like,
their dicks would be hard if they knew we did. If we drugged Teddy Roosevelt from the dead.
You think they would still write the same shit though?
Oh yeah.
You think they'd still be like?
Yeah. They wish they had our shit. It wasn't about the technology. Their whole idea was we should be able to own what they own and then some.
What the military owns?
Yes. I mean, that's the whole thing. That was the whole thing about the Second Amendment, was we have to be as strong, if not stronger, than they are.
Okay.
It wasn't about hunting. It was about tyranny, and we're here. And we're letting them do it. And I sound like a fucking lunatic, and that's okay.
That's why I brought you here today.
I get it.
This is why I brought you here today.
I know I sound like a lunatic, but it's true shit. And, it's... I don't know. I don't have a middle ground for that. That is my middle ground. I believe that I should own an F-15 if I want. If my money provided, I mean, any gun law is an infraction.
So here's where I gotta ask this, because this is where I think it gets squirrely, because I get that on we gotta be prepared for the government type shit. But the problem is America has become weird with our culture. Like, we gotta worry about our own fucking citizens more. We gotta worry about like these mass shootings now. Like those things have become crazy things that we didn't really have to deal with, of like,
so
people, at least like serial killers before, used to like kill in secret a little bit.
There was a breakdown that I really liked, and I can't remember who said it. I think it was on Rogan. It's the difference between America and England is in England, the government grants you the rights that you are given. In America, it's for the lack of a better term, it's God-given rights. It's not the rights that the government gives you. It's the rights that you are born with, period. I should be able to say, and anybody should be able to say anything they want. It's all of it. The government did not give us these rights. These are our rights from the get-go. And they're not going to take them away from us. That's why I believe anybody should be able to say anything they want, and it's the same way with the guns.
I mean, yeah, and there's always that thing like...
Yeah, I don't want to get off on the whole rant of that.
But basically, like, that's fine. You can say whatever you want, and people can say whatever they want back, so it's just common. You just can't get... Right. Like, it's funny when people get mad, like, freedom of speech. Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to say you're stupid. You know what I mean? Just like...
The NCAA fought for the rights of skinheads to say the nastiest shit they wanted to the Jews for the longest time. And at some point, the NCAA shifted. For the longest time, they said, "You're right. We hate what you're saying, but you have every right to say it." And this is provable. And they fought the court cases. There was Jews in court cases fighting for the rights of the skinheads in their First Amendment right. And then there was a shift at some point between the 80s and 90s, and that shit no longer flew.
Well, I think it all becomes money, right? Like, you think it's advertising. It's a weird mix between, like, what are we going to allow for the sake? That's where the double-edged sword of our capitalism comes, our freedoms. But also, if those things stop making money, we got to dial shit back because we got to do whatever.
I don't believe the news should make any money. That's a whole, like I said, these are whole other conversations. We don't have enough time for any of this.
You're 100%. Why is the news making money?
It should not be allowed to make money in any shape or form. This should be a non-profit organization.
And then that's where you start saying, well, then you're not going to get the best people. You're going to get people who, well,
you're going to get the honest people, though. You're going to get people. You're not going to get the people that are doing it for the money. So you're not going to get the best, but you're going to get the passionate ones.
I think so.
That's the way it was for fucking ever. There was no money in news. Journalists didn't make any money. They made just enough money to go from hotel to hotel and not get shot at by the Taliban.
So I don't know, man. It's weird because you're right. It is like those things shouldn't be able to make money. Those things we should have a way, but now everything is monetizable, right? Like if you get enough eyes on it. Yeah. So now it's just like what gets the most eyes, not like, and it's only for that moment, so it doesn't really matter how true it is, as long as you get the eyes.
And they flood the market with so much inaccurate bullshit and so much crazy bullshit that when the news is actually a little crazy, you don't believe it. You have Alex Jones sitting here saying that Parkland was a fucking false flag, so much so that you heard about the father. There was a father of a child that was the Parkland shooting that accused his son of being a fucking false flag narrator. Yeah. His own goddamn father. But then again, people surround that because a lot of the shit that Alex Jones has said is true.
Yeah.
A lot.
But
even down to the gay frogs. That gay frog shit, I don't know if you remember, he was on Rogan, and I keep bringing up Rogan, but Jamie, he Googled all that. That androgynous frog stuff was true.
Yeah.
but you gotta flood that shit.
So one really quickly, and I don't know if you have been paying attention to any of this, but this Sunday, the Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley fight's happening.
This Sunday?
This Sunday.
Dog, I didn't even know that.
So that brings up one question: is this had a lot of wind in the very beginning, partly because I think that Jake Paul tried to catapult himself a little higher because he was basically doing press around Logan's press. When Logan was doing the Mayweather stuff, right alongside that, you were hearing about stuff happening with Tyron, and people were watching. They already have the problem where people mistake them for each other. So
I have that problem.
Huh?
I have that problem.
So a lot of people do, and so I think in the news, when you hear a Paul, you're like, oh, I just want to see what this news is because maybe it's that other one. You know what I mean? So then you end up finding out oh, Jake's fighting Tyron. I was only paying attention because I thought it was the one that was fighting Mayweather. So I think he tried to use that to his advantage, but now that he's having to stand on his own, Jake's pushing enough to his Jake fans because I know what's going on because I like Jake.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Tyron fans, basically, I don't know if the casual MMA fan is a Tyron fan. And that's the reason that I think the MMA community, basically Jake knows that MMA fans are the most more engaging fans. They're actually going to pay attention. They're actually going to watch.
Definitely.
They're actually going to be involved. So that's why he's going at Dana about fighter pay. I think that's the reason he's going at MMA fighters because he's basically saying this is a YouTuber versus MMA fight. If you're talking about the YouTube community, boxing community versus MMA community type thing, he's trying to basically bring the fans to boxing.
Well, that and anybody that goes after Dana, I just want to say this for the record. Anybody that goes after Dana is doing it for clout. None of the fighters really bitch while they're sitting there getting paid by Dana. That's the only, I'm going to say this, it's the only reason Brendan Schaub's relevant is because he attacked Dana and Dana responded.
Speaking of Brendan, well, all
right, keep on. All right, sorry.
I keep on getting distracted when it comes to this, but there's things right now like this right here. Sparring partner calls Jake Paul a bully. Reveals detail on his workaholic training.
Well, no shit.
So, when you're seeing this bitch ass cat. when you're seeing this, in one way you can try to be like, wait, what, Jake Paul? But in another way, you're being like, the fact that this person is saying that this person is on a workaholic training schedule means he's taking this super seriously. And the fact that his trainer is saying that his sparring partner is saying he's a bully means this dude beat the fuck out of me. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, this dude beat the fuck out of me and he does not stop working.
I see it as the 10,000 hour rule. And both those boys, they sit there and do it. Both Paul boys do it. This says it takes 10,000 hours to master a trade. Well, they're late to the game, and they ain't getting any younger. They've got to put in that workaholic. You're damn right. They have so much momentum right now. Honestly, I think he's going to take Woodley.
I really think so,
I think he's going to take Woodley. And I like Woodley. I'm sorry. But he's hungry.
So you like Woodley. I like Woodley. I mean, I don't know Woodley that much. But you know MMA a little more. Do people give a fuck about Woodley? People that I talk to in the MMA community, like I've talked to like some diehard Conor fans, and they're for Woodley. They're like, Woodley's gonna take it. If Jake Paul takes this, I'll respect Jake Paul.
The bullshit is that they're fighting MMA fighters and they're calling it for the fan base. It's not for the fan base. It's because you're taking an MMA fighter who has those 10,000 hours of MMA under their belt, and you're taking them out of their element.
Yeah, you don't have 10,000 hours in boxing.
No, you're taking them out of their element. That's the only way you're going to get a chance with any of these people.
But Woodley is a striker. Woodley has trained boxing. Woodley has knocked people out.
But Woodley's also broken legs.
So broken like people's legs,
like shins, like shin kicks.
Well, that's
taking that out of the equation. That's these boys' tricks, and I'm not faulting them for it.
He gives them the biggest payday of their career so that they accept it, knowing very well, I'm taking you out of your element. I'm not going to come down a weight class to they always pick people that are smaller than them.
They're ushering in a new era that boxing promoters and Dana are going to have to realize real quick.
Well, boxing promoters are understanding that because he was on Triller, that bullshit thing.
They're not fighting boxers.
But the plan
Mayweather, but that's a fucking scandalous bullshit.
But still, it's like Showtime getting behind this means that means the boxing standard is taking light. Like they're taking note and they're being like, oh, this is where boxing's going. Showtime's been where boxing is. You know what I mean?
But you can't offer. The Paul brothers can't offer their opponents the paycheck of their career and still go to Showtime, because Showtime's going to take that money. That's what they do.
It's still the payday of their career, though.
Unless Showtime's getting real cool about some shit real quick and really getting ahead and seeing what these kids are doing, then they can't offer it. They can offer it on paper, but then Showtime's going to be, all right, well, we're going to air this. We're going to pay-per-view this. Here's our cut.
Well, of course, they get their cut, but like Dana gets his cut. That's the thing. They're still offering the biggest payday of their career because what Jake Paul is trying to prove is, first of all, the money, or what everyone's seeing is the money is in boxing, is where it's at. The money's on the boxing side. MMA is a more entertaining sport, though, and people want to watch MMA more so. So I really think Jake Paul's trying to bring the excitement, or both Paul brothers bring the excitement of what MMA is to the boxing ring where the money's at.
Yeah, because boxing's been dead for 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Pacquiao and you got Manny. You have your boxers, but it's never had the excitement for a long time. Ever since UFC really started getting headway, boxing's kind of been dead because it's kind of a boring sport.
That's my thing, is like, unless you're really about it and you really know and you're really into the thing, you know what I mean? It's kind of like football and shit like that. You got to know what's going on, know why this matters. You can put two people who you do not know in a ring, MMA fighting, and it's fucking entertaining. That's the reason that Ultimate Fighter show was so fucking popping.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
You didn't need to know who. They added this reality, TV element, but you're seeing two fighters who you're just like, hear and talk. You don't know who they are, and then they're gonna prove who the fuck's the best one in that ring, and that's entertaining to see. And it's short, so it keeps the attention span like 3-minute rounds or whatever the fuck it is. Like, it keeps it like...
And you're a household name overnight.
Yeah. But that money isn't necessary. Like, you can get your endorsements if you... That's where I think the problem is. Like, athletes in general, athletes in general are not necessarily business savvy. They just know how to work their body, and they kind of need someone to do that for them, and that's what Dana does.
That's why you hire managers. Outside of Dana, the only problem, my biggest problem I see with MMA and the UFC in general, is that Dana is having pay-per-views every fucking weekend.
Yeah.
You're saturating it.
And then you have an interim belt the second someone gets a belt, just so you can keep on having pay-per-views.
It's dumb, but dial it back, and you make people hungry for it.
Yeah.
You're not having football year-round. I'm not saying you should keep MMA or boxing to a season, but without doubt, every weekend, you can look it up right now.
Yeah.
There's a UFC pay-per-view this weekend. Nobody buys that shit anymore. We steal it. You hear me, Dana? I steal your shit. Fuck you.
No one steals shit over here. We ain't stealing shit, Dana, before they try to sue us. But
I got your money.
But yeah, I'll just go to a bar that's showing it, you know what I mean? Or something like that.
Right.
But I'm not paying for that.
No.
So, I do think, and I think that's what these YouTubers have been trying to figure out. It's hard now because these YouTube boxing kids are coming into this thing and realizing your fans live on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to steal shit.
I just stream. I don't steal it. Don't get me wrong.
No,
but I stream it and I don't necessarily pay for it.
No, of course, but they don't. They're not realizing these YouTube kids are bringing the eyes, but they're not bringing those pay-per-view numbers because everyone's just stealing it.
But at the end of the day, what do you want more? You want the first-hand paycheck, or do you want to be a household name because literally everybody saw your fight? Everybody knows your name. You play the long game, you want them to know your name. Stay relevant. That's how the Paul brothers are where they are now.
Yeah. Keeping the relevancy and keeping and evolving. The fact that they're taking this boxing switch, I think it's I think they realize all right, I don't know if Logan tried to do it, but I'm pretty sure, Jake 100% did the music thing. Just like Tyron did the music thing, right? Or is doing the music thing.
Is he?
Yeah, because they were doing there was a
Is it
Showtime.
whack?
Apparently, people say it's not good. And then there was a Showtime All Access thing. And in there, he's going through his day and he's at the studio and his mom's always with him everywhere for some reason. And then there's a thing and he's making music in the studio and then he goes to his mom and his mom's asleep on the couch. And it's bro, your music's so whack, your mom falling asleep to that shit. So that's been the meme going around about it. But Jake did music for a bit and I think he realized oh wait, everybody tries to go and do the music thing and it ends up kind of being embarrassing for a lot of people. What if I do this fighting thing, right? And they realize I'm naturally good at this. They wrestled as kids, and
they're big as fuck.
Yeah, and so now I think they're okay, we can lean into this. They realize when you see from people like Connor, what makes fighting great is the antics beforehand, and they know how to do antics. That's one thing. One thing they know for sure. I think it's kind of how much can we just do antics for no reason? We need reasons for antics now.
Well, they've been doing antics for no reason for a good long while before they even started boxing.
Yeah. So now it's this gives us a reason to have antics.
Didn't he make that bitch lasagna song? Who was that?
I don't know who made bitch lasagna. Yeah. But I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with this one. I'm going to be watching it this Sunday. I don't know who I'm going to pull up with. I don't know who I'm going to be pulling up with. How are we going to see this? But we're going to see it.
Hey, man, I'm down. Let's go to a bar and watch it.
I got you. Actually, there's another person that I want to have on the podcast as a guest, and me and him were talking about going in on it. It might be fun to try to figure out how that's all going to work and
who
make
you got?
it a thing. You don't know.
All right.
But he's a big personality.
Yeah.
And it's especially when it comes to this fighting shit, and so it'll be interesting.
Well, I can't listen to this one because your guest star sucks. So I'll listen to the next one. Though.
You'll catch that next one. Well, I do just want to say thank y'all for listening to this podcast. Tell your tias, tell your uncles, tell your what do you guys call your aunts? What's the white trash aunt name?
That's my aunt.
It's just aunt.
It's my aunt.
You got auntie. Y'all ain't got meemaw, nothing like that.
I got my pawpaw. I got my mama.
You got your mama.
I got a mama.
You got a mama. All right. So tell your mama. Tell your papas.
Tell your mamas. Tell your papas.
Tell your tias.
Tell your kid and them alone.
That we out here and we speaking reckless and we giving you the true facts that CNN and Fox News won't give you because, you know, they're in the pockets of all these.
Hell yeah, they are.
Peace. Pop.